Okay, welcome to another broadcast of Clarion Call presented by the two olivetrees.org. Um, a month ago, approximately a month ago, little over a month ago, excuse me, on January the 24th, we wrote an article called Are There Conspiracies? And in this broadcast, we want to talk about that. So this is a biblical account of conspiracies, on whether or not conspiracies do exist. We believe that they do exist based on the biblical evidence, not only the physical evidence. And we believe that the physical conspiracies are connected to the spiritual conspiracies. And that it is necessary to understand the spiritual conspiracies in order to understand the physical things we're seeing. Okay? First thing I want to mention and have to mention is that there is a need to watch. We have a need to watch. And the reason why we have a need to watch is because the very words that Christ gave to his servants, which includes anyone who calls himself a Christian and is a Christian and has been truly converted, or anyone who even just wants to desire to follow the will of God. We have to listen to the words of Christ exactly as he says them. So if we look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 42, we see Christ says, "Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord come." Okay, Christ is giving us a warning. He's saying, watch. Pay attention to the events that are listed in this chapter, being the chapter Matthew 24, where he gives a list of things that would precede his second coming. He's saying, watch, because you don't know when I'm coming. So if it is now our intention to follow him and understand and keep his will, we also must be watching the things that are taking place in the world: natural disasters, conspiracies, financial crises, political crises, this sort of thing, violence, pestilence, famine, war, rumors of war. These are the things that Christ lists in Matthew 24. So we need to be watching. This includes watching the conspiracies. More specifically, I want to talk about a spiritual conspiracy. Okay? And in order to understand the spiritual conspiracy that we're experiencing on a daily basis, we must identify the root of this spiritual conspiracy. Who started this conspiracy? Okay? So we have to look at the first conspirator. The first conspirator can be identified by coupling Isaiah, Revelation, Ezekiel, and Jude. If we look at these verses, we can see who and what the conspiracy started from. Okay? Starting in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 14, we see, "How art you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? You are cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High." Okay, this is the attitude of Lucifer at the point in which he rebelled against God. Okay, we need to understand this attitude and not to have a similar attitude. But this attitude is the root of the spiritual conspiracy we observe daily. This spiritual conspiracy has existed since the beginning of mankind's creation, the creation of mankind, Going on to look at Revelation chapter 12, we see that the first conspirator is identified as a dragon. And we'll prove this using verses. "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now, this dragon refers to Satan, and we'll prove that because we'll look at Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. We'll prove that. But we want to look at 2 points here. The stars of heaven. His tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Stars of heaven is referring to the angels. We'll also prove that by looking at Revelation 12, verse 9. We also want to point out that a woman biblically and symbolism, usually represents a church, whether it's a good woman or a whore, which represents a false church, a false religion, okay, a counterfeit of God's true church. Let's move on to Ezekiel chapter 28, verses 12 to 15. Thus says the Lord, you seals up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You have been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. And it goes on to list the stones. I'm going to go down a few verses. I will go down half the verse. The workmanship of your tabrets and of your pipes was prepared in you in the day that you was created. You are the anointed cherub that covers. So we know this is not talking about a man. If you read the entire chapter, it talks about two entities, the Prince of Tyrus and the King of Tyrus. And the King of Tyrus is talking about Satan. Okay, so you are the anointed cherub that covers, and I have set you so. You was upon the holy mountain of God. You have walked up and down the midst of the stones of fire. Verse 15. You was perfect in your ways from the day you was created till iniquity was found in you. So we see that this cherub that was created perfect, iniquity was found in him because of the attitude shown in Isaiah chapter 14, that he would ascend above the throne of God. He would be like God. This was the attitude he took. He began to want to be greater than his own creator. Now, a conspiracy is defined by two or more individuals planning to do something. Conspiracy usually takes on a negative connotation, but a conspiracy just means, two or more individuals making a plan to do something. So we look at Revelation 12, verse 9, we see, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So here we see that Satan is the dragon, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now we saw in Revelation 12 that his tail drew a third part of the stars, and he cast them down to the earth. And here we see angels were cast out with him. So the stars of heaven refers to these angels. Okay, the Bible interprets itself. Any serious Bible student knows this. We don't have to interpret this. The Bible will interpret itself if we look at other verses, sometimes just further in the chapter. So we can see that Satan was not alone in his conspiracy, and these angels may have had a similar attitude. Okay. Also, if we look at Jude 6, the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he has reserved unto everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. Now, this shows that the angels are a part of this darkness, a part of this conspiracy, that there were some angels a part of this. And these are the ones under Satan's command, that third of the stars of heaven. But what we have to understand about this conspiracy to dethrone God is that this conspiracy expanded to the temple of God, the very church of God. Okay? So we have to now look at the conspiracy in the temple of God. And again, verses will prove this. This is